Today is a cold autumn day and I am wearing an orange cardigan and I have a cup of scalding hot tea. And we're going to talk about school. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Liliana and on this channel we discuss history and literature related topics, so make sure to subscribe if that interests you. So lately video ideas have been pretty slow in coming and the ones that I do get aren't like that interesting to me or I don't feel motivated to do them. So I decided that today I would just do kind of sit down, chatty video, which is basically all of my videos. But I'm just going to talk about school and life and I'm gonna try to drink this very hot, burning, painful cup of blackberry and sage tea. The first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to show you guys some new stuff that I got and it's super cool and interesting and I think you guys will like it. So I got a couple of books from a independent bookseller online and the selection is great and it's amazing. I will leave a link in the description below for you guys. But this first one that I got is Album of American History. And this book is from the 1940s. And basically what it is it's just a collection of like photographs of historical items, portraiture, and maps. Just a bunch of pictures because it's an album of things from the early colonial period. Super cool, really informative. I got this book primarily because, first of all, I wanted all the pictures of historically accurate things, and secondly because I also was interested in the way American history was portrayed when this book was published in the 40s as opposed to how it is now. The second book that I got is this very pretty, very aesthetic copy of Wuthering Heights. I think this book was like the movie book, meaning they published it after a movie came out because in the front it has a picture of Earnshaw and Heathcliff as portrayed by these two actors. And it is so much better than my old Twilight version, which I showed you guys in a previous video. And the last book that I got from the seller was a gift. I got it for free. And this is also a movie copy of the book Little Women. It is an abridged version, which explains why it is so slight, because I remember reading Little Women in 4th grade and it was thick. So yeah, those are the three books. Look at how pretty they are when they are all stacked together. Lovely additions to my vintage book collection. I love them greatly. So the next thing that I wanted to show you was the new desk things that I got, which are great and beautiful, very, very dark academia style items, which include these two Victorian tintypes of seemingly crazed individuals. And these are not paper photos, they're, like I said, tintypes, which means they're hard. And if you were to bend them, they would break into two pieces. And this very cute honeybee wax seal with an accompanying dark red wax stick. A lovely book candle, which I have yet to light, and my ink, which I already had, and of course the iconic bust of David based off of the statue from Michelangelo. Now that I am done flexing my newly obtained goods, it is time to talk about school. As I have mentioned several times in this video already, it's already almost the month of November and that feels super strange because I feel like it was just a couple of weeks ago that I was making my first day of Zoom University video, in which, as you might remember, I was somewhat dismayed and annoyed at the fact that school was going to be online because I felt like I wasn't going to really be able to enjoy classes as much as I might in a in-person setting. But now that has all passed away and we are almost at the end of the semester, which for most people in the United States ends sometime in December, with the new semester starting in January. And such is the case with me. So hopefully very soon we will have a new semester and a plethora of lovely historical and literary things to do. Advising for the next semester has already started, which means we can pick our classes and run them through with our faculty advisor, which is just someone from your department, which means that we can then register for those classes, or at least try to register for those classes. I know for some of you out there in impacted majors, it's super hard. My friend is a STEM major, and if her registration starts at 3, she has to be on her computer at exactly 3:00 p.m. continuously refreshing the page so that she can click register. And if she doesn't click register in that same moment when classes go live, then they get filled up immediately and she loses any spot that she might have had in there. And then you have to go onto the infinitely long wait list. I don't want to sound like an ignorant Zoomer right now, but how did people register for classes before computers and the internet? And just think about how tedious it would be to have to sift through all of that paperwork and formulate all of these kids' schedules. I am glad that I was not around back then. That tea is really good. Now that I've been going on and on with the whole entire thing about registering for classes, you guys probably want to know which courses I myself picked for this semester. So I'm going to be taking 4 classes next semester, 2 English classes and 2 history classes. They all seem super interesting and I'm excited to take all of them. The first English class is something a little bit out of the ordinary, and it is called Content Engineering. And it sounds more like a communications class than it does like an English class. So this class really seeks to understand English and words and writing as something that is searchable, measurable, researched, optimized, published, marketed, and monetized for market viability. And so I thought that would be a really cool course to take for this YouTube channel, because obviously if we're going to be learning about things like search term optimization and monetization and how to kind of market things using words, obviously that all relates to what I try to do when I make this channel, how to make content that can reach a broad audience. I have to know how to select my words in a way that will allow the algorithm to pick up on it and distribute it to viewers. Obviously, when you're archiving materials digitally, you're going to have to use tags to identify what that thing is. You're going to have to know which keywords and tags are optimal and beneficial and appropriate for whatever it is that you're trying to catalog. The second English class that I'm going to take is your more traditional English class, and that is American Literature after 1865. I too was wondering why they picked 1865 specifically as the year. I looked it up and my suspicions were right, and that was the year that the Civil War ended. So it's a very transitional period from what we might call earlier America into a more modern age. The course description doesn't give an example of authors that we're going to be looking at, so now let's go to my beloved history courses. I'm going to be taking 2 history classes, as I already said, and the first one is going to be a historiography course. For me, it's a requirement in order to graduate, but I'm pretty sure most history majors at other schools have to take a similar course as well. But basically what this course does is analyze the way people have recorded stories over the course of history and how that impacts us today. So we can go anywhere from things like cave art and other types of paintings to oral history, when stories were transmitted just by being told from generation to generation, to what we know today, written history. Another example is that in certain time periods, like in ancient times in ancient Greece and Rome, it was considered completely normal and appropriate to make things up when you were writing history. Obviously, that's very different from what we have today. So that's really what the class is about, analyzing how people wrote about history and how it's changed over time versus how we write about history now. And the second history class that I'm going to take, and that is the global history of food. I am super excited about this class because, of course, like everybody else, I love food. Food is great. I'm super excited to learn about ingredients in other cultures and the role that food plays in things like religion or ceremonies or family rituals. I'm already wondering what I could write a research paper about because there's so much to choose from. I know a girl who took that class who wrote a paper about space food, the food that astronauts eat while in space. How can I write something of an equally novel and obscure, unheard of topic. All of the papers that I've written in college have been about really strange and random things. So that's my MO now. That's how I'm going to operate. I'm going to get some really strange, whack, out of the blue topic that nobody's ever heard of, and I'm going to write it, and I'm going to get a good grade. Some of the research papers that I've written that cover aforementioned obscure topics are the role of pants during the California Gold Rush, medieval hagiography on Icelandic/Viking pagan literature, the influence of home decor during the Gold Rush. Yes, hello, I would like the topic that literally only 2 people have written about and has next to no scholarly research about it, so I have no reliable sources to go on. Are you sure you want to do that? No, yeah, dude. Getting photos on Pinterest and then you claiming that they're my sources for a professional research paper written in a university college class? That's my middle name. Of course. And now that I've finished going on my random rant about irrelevant research paper topics, let me tell you about the 2 things that I am super excited about that might be happening next semester. The first one is the thing that is beloved and dear to my heart that I was telling you about in my Zoom University video, which is the beautiful Archival Internship featuring this textbook. Best thing ever, literally how I plan to live out the rest of my born days. I'm super excited for this because I've always been interested in archives since I was in like middle school, and I always thought they were super cool and I always wanted to touch them. So getting this internship will finally give me the chance to do just that. The second thing that I'm going to do that's not part of like regular normal classes is I'm going to have an independent study supervised by one of my professors, and what I'm going to be doing in this independent study is learning Latin. Latin is something that is going to be essential to me if I'm going to make my career in medieval studies. So I felt that it was best to get started right away, otherwise I'm going to soon be in grad school and having to cram it all in 2 years. Once I actually start doing this independent study and it starts rolling into place, I might make a separate video on that, letting you guys know how to formulate your own independent study, how to get a professor to supervise it, and all of that good stuff. When I first got to college, I never thought that I would be doing an independent study because I thought I could just teach Latin to myself. But now that I'm more informed about it, I am so glad that I've chosen to do an independent study. I also might be adding another minor in public history and museum studies. And for those of you who already know, I have a double major and a minor, so I would be double majoring and double minoring, so it seems like a lot to take on. But the public history minor has no different requirements than the history major. So it would be really killing 2 birds with 1 stone because the classes that I would be taking for my history major would still satisfy my public history minor. So yeah, that is all of the updates that I have for wrapping up this semester. My tea is almost finished. So that is all, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And like I said earlier in the video, let me know down in the comments what you think I should write about for my Global History of Food course next semester. Thank you so much for watching again. Bye!